If you feel tired after eating, here's the uncomfortable truth. That's not just getting older. That's your body struggling in real time. You know that feeling, right? You eat a normal meal, nothing extreme, and then suddenly your energy drops. Your mind gets foggy, your body feels heavy, and all you want to do is sit, or worse, lie down. And over time, you start telling yourself, well, I guess this is just part of aging. But what if that's not true? What if this isn't normal at all? But a signal your body is asking for help. Because here's where it gets interesting and a little confronting. That post-meal crash, it's not random, it's not harmless, and it's definitely not something you have to accept. In fact, once you understand what's really happening inside your body after you eat, you'll realize this is one of the most overlooked factors affecting your energy, your mobility, and even your long-term independence. And the part most people miss is that it's surprisingly fixable. Most people think feeling sleepy after eating is normal, especially after 60. And if you've ever said something like, that's just how my body works now, you're not alone. It becomes part of the routine. You eat, you slow down, you accept it, almost like it's built into aging itself. But here's the thing. Just because something is common doesn't mean it's normal, especially when we're talking about healthy aging and longevity. Over time, this idea quietly settles in. You stop questioning it. You stop looking for answers. And without realizing it, you adjust your life around it. Maybe you avoid certain activities after meals. Maybe your afternoons feel less productive. Maybe your energy never quite comes back the same way. And slowly, this begins to affect your mobility, your functional fitness, and even your confidence in your own body. But here's where it gets even more subtle. When something feels normal, you stop paying attention to it. You stop seeing it as a signal. And that's dangerous, because your body communicates through patterns. Fatigue after eating isn't random. It's feedback. And when that feedback is ignored long enough, it can start to influence your health span, your energy regulation, and your overall quality of life in ways most people never connect. So if you've been accepting that post-meal crash as just part of aging, it might be time to look at it differently. Not with fear, but with curiosity. Because once you question something that felt automatic, you open the door to understanding it. And that leads to a much more important question. What is actually happening inside your body after you eat? What you're feeling isn't just tiredness, it's a metabolic response. And once you see it that way, everything starts to make more sense. Because your body isn't randomly shutting down after a meal, it's reacting to what just happened internally. You eat, your blood sugar rises, your body releases insulin to manage that. And then, in many cases, that response overshoots just enough to leave you feeling drained. Think of it like this. Your body is trying to keep balance, but sometimes it overcorrects. Energy goes up quickly and then drops just as fast. And that drop, that's what you feel as fatigue, heaviness, even mental fog. It's not that you ran out of energy, it's that your system is struggling to regulate it smoothly. And that becomes more relevant when your goal is aging well with stable energy and consistent mobility. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This isn't about eating bad foods only. Even meals that seem normal, like bread, pasta, or even certain fruits, can trigger this response depending on timing, combination, and your current metabolic flexibility. That's why two people can eat the same meal and feel completely different afterward. Your body's response is personal, and it reflects how efficiently your system is working. And if you stay with this idea for a moment, you'll start to see the bigger picture. This isn't just about feeling sleepy. It's about how your body handles energy, moment by moment, throughout the day. And once that system becomes less efficient, something subtle begins to happen. Those spikes and crashes don't just stay the same, they start to get worse over time. As you age, your body becomes less efficient at handling these spikes. Not in a dramatic way, but in a way that matters over time. It's subtle, quiet, almost invisible at first. But your system, especially the one responsible for managing energy, starts losing a bit of flexibility. And that's where the difference begins. What used to feel like a small dip after a meal slowly becomes a noticeable crash. Part of this comes down to muscle. After 50, maintaining strength isn't just about appearance, it's about metabolism. Muscle acts like a buffer for glucose, helping your body absorb and use energy more efficiently. But when muscle mass decreases, your body has fewer places to store that incoming energy. And that means bigger spikes, followed by deeper drops. That's why strength after 50 plays a much bigger role in longevity and energy than most people realize. There's also the question of sensitivity. Over time, your body may become a little less responsive to insulin, not enough to cause immediate concern, but enough to make regulation slower, less precise. And when that happens, your system has to work harder to achieve the same result. That extra effort, you feel it. Not as pain, but as fatigue, sluggishness, that heavy post-meal sensation that seems to linger longer than it used to. And if you connect all of this, a pattern starts to emerge. It's not that your body is failing, it's that it's adapting to how it's being used. Less movement, less muscle activation, less metabolic challenge, and the system gradually becomes less responsive. Which raises an important question. If this process is happening quietly over time, what else is it affecting that you haven't even noticed yet? But here's what most people don't realize. This affects more than your energy. That post-meal crash isn't just an inconvenience. It quietly shapes your entire day. Because when your energy drops, your behavior changes. You move delay things. You sit down when you could have stayed active. And over time, that pattern starts to influence your mobility, your balance, and your overall functional fitness in ways that feel normal, but aren't. Think about it for a second. If every meal is followed by a dip in energy, what happens to your daily movement? You're less likely to go for a walk, less likely to stay active, less likely to engage your muscles. And that matters more than most people realize, because longevity isn't built in big moments, it's built in small, repeated actions. And when those actions disappear, even subtly, your health span starts to shift in the background. Now here's where it becomes even more interesting and a bit uncomfortable. That cycle doesn't stay isolated. Less movement leads to lower metabolic efficiency, which leads to bigger energy crashes, which leads to even less movement. It becomes a loop, a quiet one. No alarms, no warning signs, just a gradual decline in energy, clarity, and physical confidence. And many people mistake that for just getting older. And if that hits you a little, good, that means you're seeing it clearly. Because this isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Once you recognize the pattern, you can interrupt it. And the surprising part, you don't need extreme changes to do that. In fact, the most effective solutions are often the simplest ones, which brings us to something you can start doing immediately. Here are 3 simple ways to reduce that energy crash. And the key word here is simple, not because it sounds nice, but because it actually works. This isn't about overhauling your diet or following complicated protocols. It's about small strategic adjustments that help your body respond better to what you already eat. This is where evidence-based health becomes practical and where healthy aging starts to feel doable. Let's start with something almost too easy. A short walk after meals. Just 5 to 10 minutes. Nothing intense. No sweating. No pressure. But here's what happens behind the scenes. Your muscles start using that incoming glucose, helping your body stabilize energy levels instead of letting them spike and crash. It's one of the simplest forms of biohacking you can do, and it directly supports your mobility, your balance, and your long-term independence. Now, here's a small shift that most people overlook completely: the order of what you eat. Instead of starting with carbs, try beginning your meal with protein and fiber, like eggs, chicken, vegetables, or even a salad. Then move to the rest. This simple sequence slows down how quickly glucose enters your bloodstream, making your energy curve much smoother. Same meal, different response. That's how subtle changes can improve your health span without restriction. And finally, it's not about eliminating foods. It's about avoiding extreme spikes. Large amounts of refined sugar or ultra-processed carbs create bigger swings in energy, especially after 50. You don't need perfection. You just need awareness. And when you combine these small actions, something interesting starts to happen. Your energy stabilizes, your mind feels clearer, and your body begins to respond differently, which leads to the real challenge: not knowing what to do, but actually making it stick. This isn't about perfection. It's about small adjustments that repeat daily. And that's where most people finally relax a little. Because for years you've been told that health requires strict routines, perfect discipline, and constant effort. But when it comes to longevity and aging well, that approach rarely lasts. What actually works is something quieter, simpler, something that fits into your life instead of competing with it. So instead of asking yourself, did I do everything right today? Try asking a different question. Did I give my body a few better signals today? Maybe you walked for a few minutes after lunch. Maybe you started your meal differently. Maybe you avoided that big spike in sugar. These aren't dramatic changes, but they are consistent ones. And consistency is what shapes your health span, your energy, and your quality of life over time. Here's something most people underestimate. When a behavior becomes part of your routine, it stops feeling like effort. You don't rely on motivation. You don't negotiate with yourself. It just becomes something you do, like brushing your teeth or making coffee. That's how real change happens. Quietly, repeatedly, without friction. And that's the foundation of functional fitness and sustainable, healthy aging. And if you step back for a moment, you'll see the bigger picture. This isn't just about avoiding fatigue after meals. It's about regaining control over how your body feels throughout the day. It's about protecting your mobility, your clarity, your independence. And once you realize how small adjustments can create that shift, it becomes very hard to go back to doing nothing. That sleepiness after meals isn't something you have to accept. And once you see that clearly, something shifts. Because what used to feel like a normal part of aging starts to look more like a signal that your body is asking for a different approach. Not more effort, not extreme changes, just better decisions, repeated consistently. So let me ask you something. How many times have you adjusted your day around your energy instead of improving your energy itself? How many afternoons have been slowed down, not because you needed rest, but because your body wasn't responding the way it should? Because this isn't just about feeling tired. It's about how that fatigue quietly affects your mobility, your balance, your clarity, and ultimately your independence. Now here's the good news. You don't need to fix everything overnight. You just need to start small. A short walk after meals, a slight change in how you eat, a little more awareness of how your body responds. That's how you take back control. That's how you start improving your health span in a way that actually lasts. And if this opened your eyes, don't stop here. Because understanding your energy is one thing, but understanding how your body reacts in real-life situations is what truly protects you. That's exactly why you should watch this next video. You don't need workouts. It connects directly to what we talked about today and shows you how small daily actions can transform your strength, mobility, and long-term quality of life. If you want more simple, evidence-based strategies to improve your energy, mobility, and independence after 50, subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll keep this clear, practical, and grounded in what actually works. Because at the end of the day, your goal isn't youth, it's independence.